What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video on the channel. This video I'm going to be ranking Cuphead bosses based on difficulty. Be sure to like and subscribe and help me make this my future. Alright, starting off with our first boss. The 8-ball guy from the King Dice thing. This guy, he's one of the more difficult dice bosses, but I think he's still easy. And by the way, I'll go through our cheers real quick. Can beat while sleeping, very easy, the easiest of the easy. Then we have easy, just a little bit more difficult than that. Slightly difficult, that's our mid-tier, our basic bosses. Hard, yeah, that's your pretty difficult, challenging bosses. And mental breakdown. Bosses that will make you have a mental breakdown, that are so difficult. Alright, continuing on. We have Sally Stage Play. Her third phase is a little bit difficult, but other than that, it's not that bad. I'd say she's easy. The Devil and Angel Secret Boss Fight. This guy, he's not too difficult if you know what you're doing, but I'll put him in slightly difficult because sometimes some of the attacks can get a little bit confusing. Okay, next we got the Armadillo or whatever the guy from Moonshine Mob. This guy, he's one of the easier phases in the boss fight. I would personally put him in easy. This is my tier list, my personal opinion, so don't get mad at me in the comments. The Ballet Woman from the King Dice boss fight. If you have Smoke Dash, she is very easy. But without Smoke Dash, she's a little bit more difficult. So it really depends on what you're rocking. But I'll put her in easy. The Bee Guy from the Rumor Honeybottoms fight. Personally, I would put him in Can Beat While Sleeping. That's the easiest phase of the fight by far. Rumor Honeybottoms. See, especially her final phase is very difficult. And yeah, her final phase is very difficult, and like the second phase is very difficult as well. So personally, I think I would put her in hard. She's a pretty difficult boss fight. Now, the beer glasses. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on YouTube, but the glasses of Fun Fluid. Personally, I would put them in Can Beat While Sleeping. Very easy, not difficult to handle. Now, Wally Warbles. Personally, maybe it's just me, but I have had some trouble with Wally Warbles. And he's really just provided me a hard experience. No diddy. So I'm going to put him in hard. This guy, the Wally Warble's son, I would put him in slightly difficult. This is only one phase of the boss fight, but in my opinion, it's probably the hardest phase of the boss fight. Now, the guy from the King's Leap. This is one of the harder fights, but he's not too difficult, so I'll put him in easy. Now, Hildeberg, one of the first fights on Aisle 1, and good lord, is she difficult. Especially her final phase. Personally, I'm going to put her in hard. She's a very difficult boss, if you ask me. Now, the boat fight. Captain Brinybeard. See, the final phase is just a little bit difficult, but the rest of the battle is easy. Personally, I'm going to rank this as easy. Now, the bug lady from the Moonshine Mob. Personally, this is by far the hardest phase in the fight, so I'm going to put her in slightly difficult. The dog guy from the dog fight in the DLC. He's not very difficult, if we're being honest, so I'm going to put him in easy. This guy, he's by far the hardest fight if you are playing the King Dice. He's number 5, and you really don't want to roll him. Some of his moves are just petty, especially if you're not good at parrying, or if you get put in like a bad spot when he's using the skull attack. So I'm gonna put it in high up on easy. Next, the carrot from the root pack. He's the hardest fight in the root pack, but he's still easy. So I'm gonna put him in easy. The cat from the cat and mouse fight in aisle 3. It can be difficult depending on how much health you make it to the phase 3 with, but in reality it's easy. The cigar, one of the other harder fights from the King Dice fight. I'm gonna put it in a low easy though. He can be difficult, but most of the time he's not that difficult. Bevy the Clown. Okay, the final phase is very rough, but it really depends on how much health you make to the final phase. Those baseballs that the penguins throw are very difficult to avoid. You know, some things in this phase are... So I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to put him in slightly difficult. But the rest of the boss fight besides that final phase isn't that difficult. Now the candy corn from the candy fight. I don't know what it's called. He's one of the easier ones to avoid. He's not that hard. He just goes around the screen and all you gotta do is avoid him. So personally, I'm gonna put him in can beat while sleeping. Chips Bedigan, by far the easiest fight on the King Dice. I think Chips Bedigan is just a breeze and I can beat him while sleeping. Now the cowgirl. Woo! The cowgirl is rough. And it's another plane fight, which just makes things more difficult. I struggled on this one. I'm gonna put her in hard. She's one of the harder fights in the DLC. Okay, these guys, just a bunch of enemies from a run and gun. Nah, it's a compete while sleeping. That's easy. Cupcake, same with him. There's been a lot of EDPs out here these recent days, but it's still easy. Chef Saltbaker. Okay, this guy's going straight up to mental breakdown. He has like 4 phases, and each phase there's so much going on in the background that you can't pay attention to the actual fight. And the fight's difficult anyways. In the first 2 phases, there's a little fiery blob that jumps down at you. And in the other phases aren't difficult, but the first 2 phases especially are very difficult. You gotta be a very skilled, very knowing player to beat that. King Dice. See, this one's tricky. Because really it depends on how much you make it to how much health you have at the end. If you have like 1 health, this can be very difficult. But if you have 2 or 3 health, this is a breeze, because the actual fight itself isn't that hard. But I'm going to just put him in easy. The devil. Okay. Boy, do we got to talk about the devil. In phase 1, it's kind of difficult. Phase 1's probably the hardest phase. He shoots balls at you and fire, and the little purple demons come running at you, and he transforms into different forms and tries to attack you. It's pretty difficult. Second phase, the big pink bomb bats, they do tons of damage. So the final phase isn't difficult, but I'ma just put him in mental breakdown. He's pretty rough. Oh my gosh, Dr. Call. Every time I've come across him, I've had to use my genie wishes. He is insane, especially not to be a final boss. He's just a phase 3. But Lord, especially his first phase is rough. With all the different variables going at you at once, it's nearly impossible to get through that phase without taking damage. The second phase is a breeze, but the third phase, oh my gosh, it is rough. I'm gonna put him in mental breakdown. Okay, these guys. The final phase of the dogfight. That's by far the hardest phase. I'm gonna put her in slightly difficult. Just considering that it's the final phase. Because it keeps flipping your screen and it inverts your controls, so it's pretty difficult. Pip and Dot, this is easy. This is light work. That can beat while sleeping. Grim Mastic. Oh gosh. See, personally, based off my experience, this boss is insanely rough. But if you lock in and persevere, it's not that difficult. I'm gonna put him at the top of hard. Some might think he should go in mental breakdown, but top of hard is what I think. Is what I'm thinking. Okay, these guys, like the others, light work easy. Same with these guys. Light work. No difficult. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and rank all the running guns real quick. These guys, easy. Easy. No diff. No diff. Okay. Cagney Carnation. Reality, his second phase is a little bit difficult with all like the enemies and stuff, but it's really easy. So I'm gonna just put him at the bottom of easy. His final phase can be a little rough, but that's it. Ribian Croaks, probably the second hardest Isle 1 boss fight. I'd say Ribian Croaks is slightly difficult, but if you really know what you're doing, it's not that hard. Jimmy the Great. Okay, don't get me started on this man. His first phase isn't that bad, even though it really just depends on what comes out of the chest and tries to hit you. His second phase is easy. His third phase, where he's in the casket, is it's pretty rough. The fourth phase, where the Cuphead shoots at you, that's hard. And the final phase, especially the final phase, because by the time you make it to the final, so really, I'd say it's a hard boss fight. Okay, the little minions from the Chalice course, they're easy. This guy from the Ghost Train, he's easy. This guy, the big man from the DLC, yeah, I don't remember their names, my bad, whoops. In reality, especially his first phase. His first phase is the most difficult phase. His second phase is also difficult, but his third phase can be difficult, but it's not really that bad. So I'm gonna put it. He's pretty difficult. I'm gonna put him in hard. Goopy Legrand, light work. This guy is easy. Put him in easy. Can beat while sleeping. The Jawbreaker, the same thing for him. He's light work. He just chases you around the screen and that's it. Easy. This guy, okay. I'll admit, I had to do a little bit of locking in to beat this guy. This guy was kind of difficult. I can't lie. He shreds like heads that you gotta parry back at him and do damage to him. So I'd say that's pretty difficult. I'm gonna put him in slightly difficult. These guys from the Ghost Train, they're harder than the other parts of the Ghost Train, but they're not that difficult. Especially because of the ghosts that fly at you and drop the parrying heads. So I'm gonna put him at the bottom of the easy. Okay, this Knight guy from King's Leap, I'm gonna also put him in slightly difficult. It's just a long boss fight and you have to be patient. And you gotta wait and stuff. This guy from the King Dice boss fight. See, he can be difficult. I know that might sound crazy, but he can be difficult because of all of the screen stuff, all the stuff that's going over your screen that's blocking your vision, and the ghost that launches up at you off the little skeleton horses, and the gift boxes that he shoots at you. He can be difficult, but he has barely any health. He really has barely any time to even get started. So I'm going to put him at the bottom of easy. Calamaria. Okay, Calamaria, I'm going to put her in slightly difficult. I don't really need to go too in depth on her, but her second phase and third phase are pretty difficult. But she's manageable. This guy, one of the harder boss fights in King Dice. This guy, he's pretty difficult, if I'm being honest. He's not, like, hard, but like he has so much health and it takes so long to beat him. So I'm gonna put him in like the middle of easy. Werner Werman. Yeah, I finally remembered his name. This guy, He's not difficult, for being honest. I'm putting him in easy. Onion, eat while sleeping. He's light work. These guys, they can be a little bit difficult, so I'm gonna just put him in the bottom of easy. Captain Briny Beard. Okay, this guy's not hard, for being honest. I'm gonna put him in the bottom of easy. That first phase was so easy. Potato Man and Root Pack, light work, bottom of easy. Okay, the Candy Lady, Baroness von Bonbon. See, that final phase is a little difficult, but it's not that bad if you have enough health. If you don't have any health, then it's difficult. I'm gonna put him at the bottom of slightly difficult. The Dog Pals from the dog fight. This phase is easy. The phase with all the dogs throwing letters at you. This is easy. I'm gonna put him at the top of Can Beat While Sleeping. Okay. The Queen from the King's Leap. Honestly, she's easier than the Rook. She's not that difficult. So I'm just gonna put her at the bottom of slightly difficult. Dr. Call's Robot. Yep, going straight up there with his counterpart. Impossible. Okay. Skeleton Man from Ghost Train. He's not that hard. If you stand in between his hands while he's trying to slam you, he's light work. This guy, the final phase. If you hit him like twice, he's dead. It's a cool little fake out though. I'll admit that, but he's easy. The first phase of Moonshine Mob. He's light work. He's not that difficult. You just gotta dodge some stuff, keep on spraying at him. He's not that hard. I'm gonna put him at the bottom of easy. The final phase of the Ghost Train. Okay, this guy, it depends. It really depends on how much health you make it to the final phase with. Because if you make it to the final phase with 1 health, then I'll admit, this can be very difficult. But if you have more than 1 health, you're chilling, really. So I'm gonna put him in the top of easy. The waffle guy from the Baroness von Bonbon fight. Easy, light work, not hard. And finally, Mortimer Freeze, the final person on the list. This guy right here. Okay, it really depends on what you're doing. His second phase is by far the hardest phase, if you ask me. His first phase isn't bad. His third and final phase is kind of difficult. It really depends, though. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm putting this guy in hard. Okay, that's our Cuphead difficulty tier list. Be sure to like and subscribe, and go check out my other videos. So come here for all gaming content. I'm gonna address all gaming content, at least most gaming content. So, like, subscribe, turn them notifications on, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye-bye.